In this tutorial, we will briefly go over the new Windows 8 user interface and how to use the Start screen and Charm bar to accomplish the same tasks we used to perform with the old Windows Start menu. This is a major change to the core way in which users have grown accustomed to using Windows since the introduction of the Start menu with Windows 95. This tutorial should be perfect for any user who is new to Windows 8 and wants to quickly learn the new Windows 8 interface tools. Instead of Windows loading to the desktop as it did in the past, it now loads to the Start screen. The old Start menu organized items either individually or in groups and presented them in an ever-expanding list view. The new Start screen instead presents you with dynamic tiles for the installed applications that have been created as modern UI-style Windows 8 apps. These were formerly known as Metro apps. Applications written to run on versions of Windows previous to 8, such as Vista or 7, will still run perfectly as a Windows desktop application. The apps that show up here are optimized more for tablet use. To get to the desktop, you can either double-click the wide desktop tile, or you can use the keyboard shortcut of the Windows key plus D. Now for the most part, we'll notice that this looks the same, except for the Start button is gone. When on a desktop, you can open the Start screen by moving the mouse to the bottom left-hand corner of the desktop and then selecting Start by clicking on the screen. If you prefer, you can just press the Windows key to open back up the Start screen. If we open a Windows 8 app, like Maps here, we'll notice that it takes up the entire screen, and it's not launched on a traditional Windows desktop. To close out any Windows 8 app, you need to move your mouse to the top center of the screen until you see the icon turn into a little hand. You then click, drag to the bottom of the screen, and release. You can also have two Windows 8 apps open at the same time. To do this, open up the first app. We'll open Maps again. Then this time, we'll bring the mouse to the top center of the screen. But instead of dragging from the top to the bottom to close it out, we can move it to either the left or the right side of the screen to dock it. And release. Now one part of the screen is blank. Clicking in the blank space that shows up on the opposite side of the screen that you docked the previous app will open back up the Start screen. The next Windows 8 app that you want to open will dock to the other side. We'll click Photos. If you look between the two open apps, there's a blue line that has 3 dots in the center that separate the open apps. You can have one of the apps open taking up 1/3 of the screen, and the other app taking up the other 2/3 of the screen. You can reverse this by double-clicking on the separation line. You can drag the line, but it doesn't allow you to set a custom width. In addition to being able to open the new modern UI Windows 8 apps, we can still launch Windows desktop applications. To show all the desktop applications installed, we need to right-click somewhere on the Start screen. We can then see a new toolbar at the bottom of the window with an All Apps button on the far right side. If we click the All Apps button, the Apps window will expand to show all the other applications installed on the system. There is a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom, and we can use that to see the rest of the items on the screen. We can see items like Computer, Control Panel, Command Prompt, Run, and other items that we're accustomed to finding on the Start menu. In addition to the system applications, we can see any applications we installed on the system, such as Windows8, which I have installed on this system for testing. We can open any of these Windows desktop applications by left-clicking on them once, and then they'll open to the traditional Windows desktop. In addition to opening the applications, we can right-click on each item once. This will place a check on the right side of the tile, and will open a new menu at the bottom of the window with tasks that are specific to the tile application selected. By selecting the Windows Stat application tile I have installed on the system, we can see the standard list of options. Pin to start. This option will add the selected application to the base start screen without having to right-click and select all apps on the toolbar. Pin to taskbar. This option will add the selected application to the taskbar on the traditional Windows desktop. Uninstall. This option will open Windows programs and features to allow you to run through the uninstall utility. Open New Window. This will open the application on the Windows desktop and is essentially the same as left-clicking on the application to open it. Run as administrator. This option will open the application on the desktop, but instead of running it as the user you're currently logged in to the computer as, it'll run the application with the permissions from the administrator account. If you have user account control enabled, it'll ask you to confirm. Click yes. And it's now run the application as the administrator. Open File Location. This will open a Windows Explorer view of the shortcuts from the Start screen used to launch the application. And this allows you to explore through the Start screen or Start menu. To complement the new Start screen, Microsoft has added a new menu called the Charm Bar. The Charm Bar is a universal toolbar on Windows 8 that can be accessed from anywhere, no matter where you are. There are two ways to open the Charm Bar. The first option is to move your mouse to the bottom right of the screen. You see the Charm Bar open to the right. The second option is to use the keyboard shortcut, which is the Windows key on the keyboard plus the C button. Using the keyboard shortcut keeps the menu open until you select an option or click outside of the bar. Whereas if you drag down to the bottom right-hand corner, it only opens for a couple seconds before disappearing. There are 5 primary options on the Windows 8 Charm Bar. Search. Windows 8 has consolidated all your searching needs together into the search function on the Charm Bar. From this one location, we can search apps, settings, and files, as well as search using individual apps. Share. With the Windows 8, the ability to share everything is built in at the OS level. By default, it attempts to share via email, but installing Facebook, Twitter, and other social platforms will allow anything to easily be shared that you're viewing. Start. This opens the Windows 8 Start screen that we received at the beginning of this tutorial. Devices. This is where the devices attached to your system show up, such as digital cameras, tablets, and the like. This also allows you to send data directly to attached devices. Settings. The settings interface will open on the right side of the window, taking about 1/3 of the screen. The settings screen is where you can change common settings and preferences. Let's go through the options on the settings screen. Desktop. If you open the charm bar from anywhere other than the desktop, you can select this option to bring up the desktop. You can see it currently isn't as bright as the rest of the options, denoting that it's currently at the desktop. Control panel. This opens the control panel that we're familiar with from Windows 7. Personalization. This opens the personalization window, where you can change things like the desktop background, colors, and sounds. PC Info. This opens the System window. Here you can view information about your system and change additional system settings. Help. This opens the Windows Help and Support window. Here you can search for help on any Windows topic you want. The bottom of the settings screen allows you to view the networks the system is connected to, adjust the volume, adjust the screen brightness, adjust the time between notifications, and change the keyboard settings. One of the options you'll probably be looking for first in Windows 8 is going to be how to turn it off or restart it. Here we can see the power option. If we click the power option, we can see that here the options are available to shut down or restart the computer. In addition to this, there's also the Quick Access menu, which I'll go over in a future tutorial, which will be very useful for computer technicians and power users alike. The removal and replacement of the Start menu with the Start screen and charm bar will take a bit of getting used to, but if you give it a chance, you just might find that you like it.